Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams YouTube channel. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. And today I have a special process vlog for you. I spent the last couple months making quilts for my friends, and I recorded my entire process. So there's a lot of footage that I'm going to put together. I hope this is going to be an interesting video for you to watch. If you're new here, this is not a standard episode, so please feel free to go back and watch other knitting videos if you're interested. But yeah, this is going to be an exclusively quilting video. I spent a lot of time making these quilts. I gifted 2 of them already, so I don't have them with me. The third one, I would say, is a little bit of a fail gift-wise, but it's still a pretty quilt, but I don't think I'm comfortable gifting it. So I'm gonna edit today. Today is the 4th of January, and Happy New Year, by the way. This is the first episode, hopefully, of the year for me. I still haven't edited, that's why I'm just like talking in future tense. But of course, if you're watching this video, then I have finished the editing and the video is coming right up. Please let me know what you think, and please let me know if you're interested in these process vlog type videos for other crafts as well. I've been spending a lot of time doing a lot of different making, not just knitting, and I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of that. Of course, I'll never stop making videos about knitting. I have done a lot of knitting in the last few weeks, and I think my next video should be just an update on everything I've been making, knitting especially. But anyway, it's 2 minutes in and I've already gone off on a tangent. But I just wanted to come here and introduce the video because I don't think I did that really well back in November when I started recording. But yeah, this is 2 months worth of effort and footage. So I did not make 3 quilts overnight for sure. And I hope you enjoy this content. Thank you so much for checking out my videos, and let me know what you think. I will now let past me take over. Bye. Hello. I'm doing a vlog on 3 baby quilts that I have to make this winter. Couple of my friends are pregnant. Actually, no, that's not true. One of my friends already had a baby and another friend is having a baby in February, but I'm going to see them in December for a baby shower and gender reveal. So I'm gonna make quilts for them, and the third quilt I'm making for a friend so she can gift it to her brother and sister-in-law. I very rarely do commission work. I do it for very close friends only, and for full transparency, I only charge the cost of materials and not the cost of labor. So I only do it for close friends and just manageable projects. I wouldn't do something too elaborate even for close friends as a commission. I would happily do it to gift it to them per se. So yeah, so I'm making these 3 quilts, and I bought the fabric for all of them. One of the quilts I've already cut up the fabric. One of the quilts I received the fabric yesterday, and another quilt I'm waiting on the fabric and it'll arrive in a couple of days. I'm gonna do a trip around the world quilt for the first one, and then I'm doing some quilt math to figure out how many squares I would need for a 9-patch quilt. The target size for these quilts is 60 by 60 inches. I feel like that's a good size quilt that the baby can use even after they're like toddlers and everything. So I don't like to make really small quilts because then in a few years they're pretty useless, except for, I don't know, comfort blankets or something. I don't know. But I like the 60 by 60 inch. I've made a couple quilts for babies already of that size. This is the fabric of one of the quilts I purchased. I usually base most of my bundles on one main fabric. So this is the main fabric. I really like the foxes and the leaves and mushrooms and everything. And then I try to buy coordinating fabrics with it. So I've divided them into lights and darks. This is a greeny, maybe the lighting is not perfect. And this is navy, very dark navy. So I also buy some solids to go with it. And then these are the lights. So we have this green, some floral, beiges and cream, and then there's another one with a lot of animals and heavy prints and that. So I think I'm gonna do the 9-patch quilt with this, and hence I divided them into darks and lights. So I did the math for the 9-patch quilt mostly. I've divided the squares into lights and darks. Light square just means there's 5 individual squares of light blocks, I mean, have more light than dark, and the dark blocks have 5 individual squares of the dark fabric and then 4 of the light. So I decided how many squares of each I need, and my quilt currently is going to be 57.5-inch square, but I might be able to add another row to make it a rectangle if I feel like it, because I think I have enough fabric. And then I divided my 1 yard of fabric into squares of 4.5-inch each, and I basically figured out a cutting strategy so that I don't have to cut into the fabric completely and waste a lot of the fabric. I think I'll have a lot of fabric leftovers. Okay, so I have all the strips cut out, and I've tried to pair them with lights and darks, like as a combination, and one set of a light and a dark, like this has 3 strips each, will give me 6 blocks per combination. So I completed sewing the major big, like the long strips together. These were 4.5-inch strips, and I also ironed them. So I did it in sets. So there's so every set has these alternating strips, And now I'm going to cut them 4.5 inch into smaller strips. Okay, so I sewed together the quilt top and I'm actually pretty happy with this. There is some sort of a pattern and symmetry while also being quite random. I think at this stage I'm not going to sandwich it this weekend and I might move on to the next quilt top. I think I want to just finish the quilt tops. Like piecing frustrates me. How much ever I pay attention to it, like, you know, this kind of they're all off by a little bit here, if you can see, but then others are not. So I guess it's okay in the grand scheme of things when I finish it and it's like quilted and when I put the binding on it, no one will know anything. But yeah, so this is quilt top number 1, I guess, and I'm pretty happy with it. Hi all, so it's week 2 of the quilting process and I think you can tell that my hair is non-existent. So I went for a haircut earlier this week and I feel like my hairstylist cut it way too short. I don't know what happened. Like I've been going to her for a while, but I don't know if I was not clear or something and she ended up chopping off way too much. I felt like I had to give an explanation. But anyways, back to the quilting. So last week I did some calculations, did some maths, and I got like my fabrics, everything were here. So today is Saturday, I think it's November 16th, and I just finished ironing one of the quilt fabrics. I usually iron the fabrics before I cut into them, but I don't pre-wash quilt fabrics because once the quilt is all done and then washed, I feel like it shrinks together and makes it like, you know, that nice quilt wrinkly thingy. So so today I'm gonna cut into one of the quilt fabrics and I think I'm gonna start sewing a little bit because I suddenly realized that if I cut all the quilts together and then make all the quilt tops together, that will mean I will be quilting all of them together, and that might not be the best thing for my back. All right, it's time to move on to quilt number 2. I'm doing the trip around the world quilt. I need 7 prints and each print needs 24 blocks of 5 by 5 inches. And just one print needs 25, so 1 extra block. I had this fabric cut out a few months ago because I was supposed to make this quilt for an October baby, but I got really busy and I was able to cut the fabric but not start on the quilt, so I'm gonna do it today. However, I have 8 prints and I don't know how that happened. So I think I'm just gonna make an executive decision and maybe not use this one. I like the other ones, and let me see how it goes. I'll start sewing and then you'll see how it comes together. There is a video I follow on how to assemble this quilt in a simple manner. So you're supposed to lay them out and then follow like a clockwise or an anti-clockwise path to be able to get to this block easily. So you make 4 of these and then you make the center strip separately. And I'll link that video. It's by Jordan Fabrics. They're a fabric store in the Pacific Northwest somewhere. and they have a free video and a free pattern as well, but I think their pattern is for a bigger quilt and I just modified it to be a baby size. Alright, block 1 is done and I just need to do this 4 more times. And actually this quilt is so much easier and so much more effective. There's a reason there are quilting patterns and symmetry and everything. I really enjoy piecing this one, so I'm just gonna finish this quilt top pretty soon, I think. So I did another thing and I planned another quilt somewhat. So this is using half square triangles and I'm thinking a 10 by 10 squares, so about 100 squares, and I also calculated how to cut a yard. And half square triangles, this calculation is for 8 at a time, but I also tried the 4 at a time method and I made one sample. I just did the half square triangles and initially I thought I could do it like this, but I can also do pinwheels. I did not sew the single blocks together, but I wanted to arrange them to figure out what my lights and darks would be. I'm really liking this. And of course there's mango. But this is way bigger than a baby quilt needs to be. So I'm wondering if I should make the quilt top and keep it for myself. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. All right, so the trip around the world quilt, which is quilt number 2 in the series, the top is done. And on cue, we have cats investigating the quilt top. Now, I apologize for the artificial lighting. If I'm quilting on a weekday, it's only in the evenings, and I can't really do anything about the lighting. That's fine. There were quite a few wonky squares in this one. I cut these squares like a while ago, and I don't know, I need to get better at my cutting. I think someone had suggested a different cutting technique in one of my previous videos, and I may need to look into that. Anyway, the quilt looks good. From a distance, you can see the mistakes, so all is well. I have already started piecing the third quilt top, and this weekend I think I may have to go and pick out some backing fabric. I don't have backing for all the quilts. I am so pleased with this pattern always. It's so easy to put together and it's very effective. Hello. I feel like I've just been sorry about that. I'm not feeling too well, so I'm not gonna talk for too long. But I feel like I've just been taking footage of me doing stuff but not showing my face here. But for the last week or 10 days, I've had this cough, and I don't think I can talk for more than a few minutes at a time. I just wanted to show you, I have these small tags that I purchased on Etsy, and maybe I'll put a link to where I got these from. And I have been adding them to all my quilts, and I've now tried to remember to add them to the quilt top once I finish. So I've finished 2 quilt tops already, and I'm gonna add these to the bottom right square, and then I'm working on my third quilt top today. It's the pinwheel quilt. So I'm gonna I think I finished making like half of the blocks, and I need to make the other half, and then I'm gonna square these out and then sew them together. So I'll be finishing three quilt tops. I'm trying to decide if I should I'm trying to decide if I should make the 4th quilt top or sandwich one of them. This one has a deadline on it because I'm going to meet my friend in Minneapolis on the 12th of December. Today is, I think, 23rd November. So I'm going to meet my friend on the 12th, and I need to finish this before that. So I might either sandwich this or just make the 4th quilt top. We'll see. But yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been showing my face here during the process, but I just wanted to come and explain why. All right. I'm starting to sandwich my quilt. I use 100% cotton batting to do this. I use a 6-foot long picnic table to do the sandwich or the pin basting. and some clamps to hold everything in place. I've laid out my backing, and now I'm laying out my cotton batting as well. And I've used this batting for other quilts, and I really love using it. And now comes the quilt top. I've already ironed this, and I'm making sure I have enough allowance of the batting and the backing, and of course pin basting. I prefer pin basting to any type of spray basting. I've never tried spray basting, but I just prefer pinning the quilt in place, and the table really helps me do this. It helps my back, and I don't have to crawl all over the floor. For my third quilt, I found an inspiration picture on Pinterest, which I decided to recreate. I did some quilt math to figure out how big each of my half square triangles need to be and how many I need. And then I assembled the half square triangles to see how they look. I decided to use my dining table for quilting, and it turned out to be the best idea ever. We almost never use this dining table to actually eat, and this is going to be my new quilting table. I love using grippy quilting gloves. These help me move the fabric a lot more easily. Hello, so it's time for a quick regroup. My quilts. I finished one quilt, I finished the quilting. I have the binding left, and by the way, today is November the 29th, and it's the Thanksgiving weekend here in the US. And my cough is gone, but I still have a little bit of a cold. I'm thinking of recording a regular podcast this weekend, maybe tomorrow, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so I finished one quilt, as in I finished the quilting, and I have to do the binding. The second quilt is ready to be sandwiched. I had to go and buy the correct size cotton batting today because I have in my stash a king and queen size batting, but I kind of didn't want to cut into them for a baby quilt. So I went and bought twin size battings, and I bought 3 of them because they were on sale for Black Friday. And so I'm gonna sandwich the second quilt today, and the third quilt, I think I might sandwich it tomorrow. Let's see how I feel. But I'm basically gonna quilt the second one today. And I've taken over our dining table as my quilting space. It really helps to have a lot of the table. So I sit on the bottom right corner of the table, and then I'm able to spread out the quilt all over the table, and it's less weight for me to carry on my back, and it has been helping out quite a bit. I'm faster and I'm less exhausted by quilting. So yeah, that's what's happening. I thought I'd come and give an update. I haven't shown my face enough, I feel, for the vlog, but we'll see how this all turns out. I have no idea. I'm taking so many videos, and then I have to put all of them together. So this is going to be a mammoth task. Hopefully it goes well. I feel the need to show you how messy everything has become. I brought my big sewing machine down here in between all the quilting. I also decided I am missing some pants for winter. So at this stage, because of how much fabric I have, I can't justify buying clothes anymore. So I cut out, these are the Pinion pants by So Liberated. Then I have a basket with the Sweet Shop blanket at the bottom. I put all my yarn in a basket, and I am trying to do at least one square a week or something like that, so that I get this done, because otherwise there's no way I'll dedicate time to it. So I need to do it in bits and pieces. So yeah, I have the basket over here. Then we have a different blanket I started, so the holst cone is sitting down here. Then this is the quilt I finished the quilting for, and I cut it, I trimmed the edges, so now I have to do the binding, and here are the trimmed edges. I'm just showing you all my mess basically. But yeah, this is the table I use for sandwiching, so I have to clean all this out before I'm able to quilt or sandwich the next quilt. But this is my machine. It's a Baby Lock Jazz 2. It has a 12-inch throat, and I really like it for that reason. Especially like smaller quilts get done so easily. That's actually a painting my friend did for me, and I absolutely love it. Some books, and this is basically an office where there's sewing patterns, there's all these printed sewing patterns, a box fan for whatever reason, and my printer. This room definitely needs a little bit of love and attention, but I'm just like showing you all my mess essentially. Shoto? So I am now sandwiching my third quilt. So I really like this one. The way I do it, and all my quilt batting scraps are over there. I'm gonna at some point clean that out. I just want to finish these quilts and then I can clean up. So I usually like to use this 6 foot long picnic table, and I align the center of the quilt top, the center of the backing, and the center of the batting to the center of the table, and this helps me baste it pretty, or pin baste it pretty easily. This is the backing fabric. I think it goes pretty well with all the greens happening here, and I really like it. Finally, the holidays are here, and I decided to bake some shortbread and some pumpkin and chocolate chip cookies for Christmas. We are planning to have a really peaceful, full of crafting kind of a holiday. So I'm having second thoughts about this quilt. Sorry about that, it's just the cat's food can, and I don't know why they brought the lid here. But there are a lot of errors in this quilting, and I know you can see and you'll be like, I'm being ridiculous, but to give it as a gift, I am not happy with how the quilting is happening, and I feel like I didn't cut this fabric properly, and I may have cut it very off grain, and it's skewing up the entire quilt. I wanted to show you some of the bigger issues with this quilt and why I don't think it's successful. If you can see, this is the seam line where I joined two pieces of backing fabric together, and this is my stitch line, and it's clearly super skewed. Can you see how it is? And it's not aligned, so my backing fabric definitely shifted. Also, I mean, I have definitely done a better job on other quilts of sandwiching this and putting it together, and which is why I'm kind of upset about how this turned out. Like, and I don't think it's gifting quality. And to highlight my mistakes even more, see how there is like all this fabric bunched up here. I had to jump here because I couldn't go through all of this, and this fold has shown up. So little things like this which have not happened on other quilts have happened on this one, and it's perfectly fine to use, of course. Like, it's beautiful, and if I finish it, it'll be all good, and no one is gonna notice that I notice, and I think this will be fine for me to use at home. But I don't want someone else to have this as a legacy quilt. So I think I'm gonna make another one of this for my friend, and I'm just gonna finish this and use it at home. So I had told you that other quilt I was making, I'm not happy with it. I ended up buying more fabric to make the quilt that I will be happy with. I love these prints. They're upside down, but you get the idea. So now I have to make yet another quilt top. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that entire video. So I finished 2 quilts. I think the third one is almost a fail gift-wise, and I'm gonna finish it and probably just use it at home. And there is one quilt top that still needs to be addressed, and there is more fabric for a brand new quilt. So all in all, it was a good 2 months of quilting. I have since deciding not to do the third one, and since getting the new fabric, not done any more quilting. I think I just had done so much of it that I got a little tired of it, but I'm just waiting for the inspiration to come back so that I can start quilting with the new fabric that I got, that I can give to my friend. I don't make small baby quilts, so I don't need to give them to my friends when the babies are still newborns. I make them pretty big so that they can use it as toddlers and children as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think, and as always, I would love to hear from you. What are you working on? What are you making? Are you quilting? Are you knitting? Please leave a comment in below this video. Thank you so much for watching. I had such a lovely time sharing my journey with you. I hope you have a good rest of your day, week, month. I will see you soon with more knitting and making content. Thank you so much. Take care. Happy crafting. Bye.